Who would win? A team of professional developers, supported by millions of dollars of budget, armed with the best programming systems, or a single middle-aged man in his parents' basement? Probably the first one. In the current ages that we live in, where there are no straight characters in a Netflix show and you can literally get cancelled for supporting your favorite politician, making video games is no longer limited to giant companies. If you have never felt the touch of a woman and have no idea what grass looks like, you can lock yourself in your room behind your computer that barely runs GTA San Andreas and make your own video game. If you're lucky, some YouTuber would eventually pick up your game and make you rich, and if you're unlucky, your masterpiece ends up in Game Jolt, amongst the fan-favorite spin-offs of the famous Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, such as the Fan Simulator, in which you are a fan.
Another fantastic year filled with incredible video games.
And Five Nights in Anime, which I gently request that you do not ask how I'm aware of its existence. Why is this game so detailed? I accidentally stumbled upon it, okay? I didn't search for. Indie games are created by either a singular or a very small group of independent developers, which means they have no support, no backup, no friends, no bitch. On paper, it seems really difficult to create a game all by yourself, cause it is. I was really interested in creating my own game like a long time ago, so I grabbed a pen, wrote the plot, drew my characters, got to learn how to code, and quitted 4 minutes into the tutorial. Come on, we all had that phase when we had that one video game idea in our head that would be nominated for Game Awards. But some people out there who had the time and passion didn't quit like you and me. When I say these games were not developed by a giant studio, this isn't what I mean. No, this, or this, and even this is what I mean. There's a bunch of people out there that are proving to everyone that just because you throw money into a project doesn't mean it'll turn out to be good. With pretty much the majority of population owning computers, literally anyone can draw their very own imagination. Of course, when you give anyone a pen and paper, you won't get Mona Lisas all the time. But those few times that you do, oh my god, those few times that you do. The pit of indie games is literally bottomless, so you can sit back, smoke your pipe, and play some 10 out of 10 masterpieces. Going through these games, you begin to notice a theme. That is that most indie developers are shit scared of a 3D project. We have the overhead view, the side scroller, the first person where you don't really move. And what do you think is that? Look, I know we got Cry of Fear, Total Chaos, and even that game Dream Plays. But just take a look at time comparison. We have Total Chaos that took about 10 years to make, and then we have Cuphead, which had like an insane production process. They literally drew everything with hands. So this Cuphead guy was drawn for about 1,000 times, and that's just a single character. Despite all this, it took 5 years less than Total Chaos, because it didn't need a 3D detailed play zone. Making a 2D game is fairly easier for developers, and given the tight budget, it would also help them use the money more carefully. The sad part is, most of these indie games don't really go anywhere. They take a lot of time to make and then end up with a total of 4 people that played it. And I think to some extent it goes back to marketing. I mean, when you don't have that beautiful publisher stamp that can literally sell any garbage on your game, no one really knows who you are. So you're left with a small amount of budget, which after spending on the game itself becomes even smaller. Like, if you take a look at Outlast, the devs literally had no paycheck for 18 months. And I think the creativity of devs really shows itself because of these limitations. One thing you may notice is that most of these games don't have any voice acting or barely any to save budget. And I say may notice because the games are structured in a way that you don't even realize they need any voice acting. So after these poor souls are done producing the game, they have to either beg to God for some famous YouTuber to pick it up or do marketing. Marketing tactics for indie developers is like defusing a bomb with 500 wires. The options are limited because of the budget, and even with those limited options, most of them don't really give the game the attention the devs want. And that could be life-threatening. You can put on everything you own on the line for a video game which you hope will make you rich, and at that point there's no turning back. If your game fails, it's straight to under the bridge. Take a look at Cuphead devs, Chad and Jared Moldenhauer.
Moldenhauer.
They literally remortgaged their houses and put all of the money in the game, and it did pay off. Once you launch the game, you won't even realize that you have spent the last 5.5 weeks speeding an ugly piece of shit on a unicycle. Your wife left, took the kids, but at least you got to hear that sweet, sweet... There was Hotline Miami, which the devs refused to clarify the budget, but it obviously wasn't much high, but it became so popular that your boy Jacket found a new line of career. I know that Jacket in Payday 2 isn't the same in Hotline Miami. This isn't the Payday 2 video. Blasphemous devs also claimed the budget to be very tight, working on short money to portray how shit religion really is. Undertale had over 51k at Kickstarter, and we all know how influential that game was on people. Another challenge indie developers face is preventing their game from becoming generic. I mean, take a look at how many side-scrollers are out there, so if the devs want the game to stand out, they gotta come up with something new. This is an issue that most of huge studios don't really face. It can be the interesting gameplay, atmosphere or lore, sometimes even a hidden message within the games like the whole "we are a bunch of animals" thing in Hotline Miami. A lot of people claim popular indie games to be overrated, but the thing is, as an indie developer, you have to come up with a concept that is fresh, unique, interesting, fun, and most importantly, something you can create. You may come up with a concept of a game that is literally so unique you're amazed why no one else has thought about it, but then you can't really make it before you become 75 years old, so you just quit. And that's the beauty of indie games. Anyone can create something lovely if you throw in the best of everything to them, but how can something produced under such limitations that comes out to be this great considered to be anything but a piece of art?